Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Unbound. I'm Nicola Humber, author of Unbound and founder of the Unbound Press. And today I'm delighted to be joined by author, speaker, Lis Cashin. Welcome, Lis.
Thank you so much, Nicola, for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Me too. Really excited to see what comes through in our conversation. And Lis has a new book coming out in a couple of weeks, isn't it, Lis? Yeah.
June the 26th.
June the 26th, and it's called This Is Me.
Yeah.
One Hell of a Path to Happiness, which I love that title. And it's a self-help memoir. So Lis is sharing her story, which is an incredibly powerful story, and we'll see kind of what wants to come through during our conversation. I won't give too much away, but you definitely want to get yourself a copy of Lis's book. So Lis, the focus of this show and all of the conversations is kind of unbound and being our fullest, freest selves. But I usually start by asking the same question, which is, can you think of a time in your life? Is there a time that comes to mind when you felt particularly bound, and how did you move beyond that?
That's a great question.
Mm.
To be honest, my first reaction was, yes, actually, a lot of my life I felt bound.
Yeah.
Let me think of a specific. I know there's an example that I do talk about in the book, which actually just happened last year. So I just managed to sneak it in.
Mm-hmm.
But I was on a retreat in Spain and, working through some stuff as I have been doing for a while. And I was I felt particularly bound by feeling oppressed like I had done as a child through a stepdad growing up. I felt very oppressed and suppressed through that, very bound. And in my mind, part of me was still bound.
Mm-hmm.
In that. It was a bit like, this story with the elephants, with the baby elephants, and they put a stake in the ground and tie a rope around the elephant's neck, and it tries to get away and it can't. And then as an adult, all you have to do is literally put the stake in the ground. The adult won't move away. And I felt that part of my mind was very much bound or stuck in that still. It was like a caged tiger, almost just going round and round and round. And I did a process with a lovely lady who was on the retreat, which is, I was trying to think of the name, I think it's Mind, Body, Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a process of connecting to that and actually releasing it. And I got to shout and say all the things that I wished I'd been able to say at the time, but I just said them in that space, which felt quite liberating in itself. And then after that, I went to just be by the pool, and I felt that I had some music on, and I felt my foot was tapping as it usually does, and and there was other women, and I said, "Do you mind if I put some music on?" Actually, we'd rather be in silence. And I thought, okay, I respected their right to silence, but my body was, as soon as I hear dance music, my body just wants to. And then I was topless at the time. I thought, well, I can't just get up and dance. That's not. So, but in the end, my body just did what it wanted to do. So I got my sarong, put it on, and I ran over to a grassy part, and I just went for it. I was like, just with my headphones on. I felt so unbound. I felt so liberated and so free. It was like, and then at the end, I just collapsed onto the grass, like star shape.
I love it. I love it so much. And what I love about that, Lis, is, you're talking about something from your past, like way back in your past, when you were a young girl and it was still impacting on you. But the thing is, we can change that at any time, can't we? Like by allowing yourself to express, like you said, what you wished you'd been able to express at the time. But of course, when we're children, we can't always do that. Very often we can't do that. We don't even know what we want to express at that time. So, but we can do it as adults. We can give ourselves permission to do it. And it still has that really liberating, freeing impact, which you talked about so beautifully.
It was a real magical moment for me. It was a real kind of assertion of me, like, this is me. You know, it was kind of, that's almost what prompted the title, because I felt like, you know, this is me, unbound, and not being constricted by other people's views of me or opinions or beliefs or whatever anymore. That actually now it's about me and who I'm choosing to be without all of that.
Love it. And that's the key phrase, isn't it? Who I'm choosing to be, and recognizing that we do have a choice. You know, we can choose.
Definitely. That was one of the key messages in my book, actually. It was actually my personal awakening, which I had on a sales training course. It was a Dale Carnegie sales training course, and I had to read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And in that book, he says, think and act positively, and you will become positive. And it literally was like, you know, people talk about light bulb moments, but for me, I was like, what? I can choose to think differently. Because up till then, I'd just been my thoughts, or so I'd thought. You know, and it had all been very traumatic and negative. And then suddenly there was this light bulb, this light saying, no, actually, you've got a choice here. You can choose to think differently, and you will become happy. And I was, that for me was the start of everything coming back from there. Realizing that I had that choice. And there's been different deeper levels of choice that I've kind of realized over the years, that it's not as simple as that. You know, I thought, oh great, so I just have to think positively and then everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. If only. No.
Oh, it's like I then had a spiritual awakening in India. Someone gave me Reiki, and I thought, oh my God, I'm like expansive and connected. It's like blissful. And I thought, oh, this is it now. I've cracked it. Or like, I've just got to know that this is true and everything is going to be love and light and perfect. And then what happened was all of my stuff just came up. And I thought I was doing it wrong. I thought, well, this can't be right. What's going on here? You know, I know it's all love and light, and here I am in crisis after crisis after crisis, kept yo-yoing round and round.
Yeah.
But kept choosing, recommitting to the choice.
And that is the thing, isn't it? And I know so many people watching are going to resonate with what you've just shared. And I know I do. How many times have I thought, yes, this is it.
Yeah.
I've done it.
I've cracked it.
No. There's always the different layers. And, you know, you talk about that yo-yo, and I think that we keep spiraling round, don't we? And, you know, moving to different levels, kind of, you know, moving deeper into ourselves and, you know, the true nature of who we are, and the true nature of the universe, really. But, you know, we have to keep we kind of move away again and then we come back again, and it's like, oh, come on.
I love that, moving deeper into ourselves, because that is exactly the journey. It's like I was looking outside here, I was a workshop junkie and trying to get oh gosh, is it here, all these shiny things, and I need to pay loads of money, and you know, the money I've invested in myself, I'm worth a lot of money. But actually then realizing, you know, it was all inside of me, and actually that journey has been an inward journey. And like you say, I just thought I was going around in circles a lot of the time, and then realized it was a spiral, and actually each time going up, I think, a little bit more. Rather than just going round and round.
Exactly. Gorgeous.
I didn't put this in the book, but something came to me a couple of years ago, and it was evolve, not revolve. There's something about evolution rather than revolution.
Definitely. I love that. Got words. So I love words. Like, choosing the right words that really express what we want to is really important. And using those right words when we're talking to ourselves or talking about ourselves are really key, aren't they? Getting the one that just really expresses the truest essence of what we want to share. Yeah. So tell Tell us about the decision to write your book, Liz, because I'm always really fascinated in this, what makes people decide to actually do it and write the book, because I know if you're anything like me and a lot of the women that I work with, it can take a long time to actually make that decision.
Yeah, took a long time to start writing, and actually a long time to finish writing. All I can say is this book had a life of its own.
Yeah. And it will do once it's out there as well.
Exactly. It was like, it became, I'm trying to think when I first had the thought. I can't even remember not having the thought that I wanted to write a book about it. I think maybe it was when I had that awakening in India and thought that I'd cracked it, and then just wanted to like tell everybody about that. And I think that's when it started to become more of a deeper resonance. But I always think that if I have thoughts that go away and keep coming back, they're the ones I need to pay attention to. And this book just would not leave me alone. I was like, if I didn't write this book, it was going to hound me. So I knew I had to write it. And it took a while. So then after having that, I think it was probably about another 7 years, and then I went traveling again, and I had space then, because let's face it, we've all got life and we're busy, and actually I was going through a massive personal transformation, and so writing at that same time wasn't really possible at that point. But then I was off in India and had all this time, and that's when it started. So I was writing it during that time for about a year, and it was quite cathartic. So I had to relive some of those really painful memories, but then got to also revisit all of the things that I've learned, and so it was a very powerful experience. And I came back, so that was in 2009, came back and thought, oh well, I'm just going to finish the book, and then that will be that. And it came back, and then all the energy dropped. And I thought, well, hang on a minute. And I told everyone I was writing this book, and everyone kept saying, oh, when's the book out? When's the book out? And I was like, we're just still working on it. And then eventually, after about 6 months, I thought, it's not the right time to finish it. That was the message I got. It's like, you've got to live this next bit.
Wow.
So I do trust my intuition. So if I don't, then I know it's not going to end well.
Exactly.
Even though it had seemed, I realised now I was not ready 10 years ago on a personal level. And also there was a key missing piece. So a couple of years ago, because I'd started to publicly share about a trauma that I experienced as a teenager. And each time I shared, I felt like I was reliving it and I was re-traumatized. And I thought, this can't be right. I can't be suffering so much in trying to help other people. And it led me to go back to the GP and ask for a diagnosis of an assessment for PTSD, because I'd heard a lot about that and it seemed to fit. And so that's what I had, and that was the diagnosis. And then I got some specific trauma treatment. So, I'd been living with it for over 30 years, just not realizing what it was, but knowing the impact that it was having. And then suddenly it was like so much judgment towards myself dropped, because suddenly there was this reason. It was like, oh my God, well, of course I felt like that. Well, that's why I did this. That's why, I took a lot of drugs in my 20s. And actually, that's a classic PTSD, can be a classic PTSD reaction to drink or take drugs, because for those times I was on drugs, I didn't feel any of that pain. So why wouldn't I want to take them at that time? Because I was in so much pain, and so I was able to drop a lot, I think, of those judgments and different attitudes. And then with the right treatment, I feel fundamentally different. And then I was like, oh, now I can finish the book.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels completely, right that you had to kind of recognize that PTSD was there and have the treatment for that, and go through that process of healing before being able to actually share the book and share your story, which is so powerful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I had the whole spiritual awakening, and then, you know, I've trained, what haven't I trained in? You know, coaching, Reiki, shamanism, bioenergetics, you know, anything, everything, just trying to heal myself.
Mm.
But actually, what I've realised is, you know, the mainstream medicine and PTSD diagnosis and treatment was a key part. And so for me, it's that I'm going like this, but to me, it's like that marriage of both.
Yeah.
It's the very grounded mental health stuff as well as the more connected spiritual stuff. And it's been that combination that has enabled me to become the person here today. And I've needed both of those parts.
Yeah, yeah. And it feels like actually, oh, just knocked, I'm getting excited. But it feels like, you know, even just receiving the diagnosis and that acknowledgement of, oh, okay, this is what's been happening. That must have been immensely powerful in itself. I mean, obviously that enabled you to go on and have the treatment, but just knowing that this is not that it's something wrong with me, it's this is what I've been experiencing for all these years.
Yeah, and in the treatments, I had an amazing therapist, and she said to me, "You're having a normal reaction to an abnormal event."
Yes.
And I cried. I was just like, "Oh my God, the way I'm feeling is normal. Like, there isn't anything wrong with me. This is, you know, what I witnessed was a horrific trauma at a very young age and got no help at all for like 15 years to try and come to terms with it. So no wonder I was living, you know, with that trauma in my system. My brain developed in a different way because of it. And, you know, all of these things. And I think it helped the people around me to understand, because of course they've been alongside this journey with me, my family and close friends. And I think it's been hard for them at times, like, oh God, why can't she just move on? I know that, you know, I mean, they love me dearly, but I think that has definitely been a part, you know, oh gosh, you know, they wanted me to move on. I wanted me to move on. It drove me mad. I was like, I'm trying everything.
I'm trying
everything, literally everything. And then I felt like a failure because I was just yo-yoing back into this place of intense fear and despair at times, you know, and then thought, well, and then I started to question my faith, you know, because I was you know, real faith and trust that in the vision that I'd had in the book and, you know, all of this stuff. And then I started to question, oh God, am I actually mad? Is this, you know, I write about that in the book. I just thought, oh God, maybe I've just lost the plot, even though I feel like I found it. maybe I'm deluding myself, you know, and because it's not working. I'm trying all these things and I'm feeling good for a while, and then I'm back into this place of despair. And then suddenly there was like, yes, that is right. That is what you've been experiencing. Oh, wow, thank you. I can actually process that. And since that treatment, because I've been living with it so long, it's not, I do still get triggered sometimes, but I'm able to really quickly kind of resource myself, you know, and it's very different to how it was before. I just kind of felt at the mercy of it at times, which was very debilitating. And also, you know, I covered it up.
Yeah.
So people who've known me, even through all this journey, we've always seemed so confident.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's part of my story as well, is we just don't know what's going on behind the masks. And I've had many. I've been wearing lots. But some people have always seen the real me, and that is amazing. You know, I call this the authentic Lis underneath all of that. And that's been very healing for some people to always see through all of the rest of it. But it always surprised me if people did, you know, because I was just in so much pain, and I thought that's all that people will be able to see.
Oh, Lis, I just want to kind of take a moment to really honor you for like following the call to write your book and share your story over such a long period of time, like really sticking with it and holding that faith through these incredibly challenging times. And now to get to the point where you are going to be sharing it and it's going to be released out into the world. How does that feel for you after all this?
I know. I actually feel it's like I'm living the dream. So it's actually quite surreal. in one sense. I keep going, oh, I said to someone yesterday, oh, my book's out next month. It's out this month. Oh my God. The book is actually here. It's out this month. So it feels very surreal, but also very grounded. And I think that's the thing about my journey is I've put in the foundations. I think that's, and so 10 years ago when I thought I was ready and then very quickly realized I wasn't. But this time I feel grounded with it. So it feels like right now, and at times I think if I'd done it before, it would have been, I was still desperate to get recognition. Yeah. And so that would have been a different energy going out into the world. It's like, oh, look at me, you know, this is me, look at me. Yeah. But actually, it's not that now. Now it's like, let me share with you all these things I've learned, you know, to help other people to fulfill their potential, to give hope to those that might be struggling. To just, I mean, hope was a key. When I realized I had choice, then I had hope. Yeah. Hope came with choice. Yeah. And I didn't know what, I literally, you know, I call it one hell of a path to happiness. I didn't know what the hell was going on for a lot of that journey, the awakening. Even though in one sense it opened up, it also then, there was a lot of chaos that ensued.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, and I think a lot of people will resonate with that as well, when we have these kind of moments of awakening or times of when we're kind of waking up to something. Yeah, it can feel very chaotic. And then we start to question it. It's like we imagine that it's going to be, you know, gorgeous and peaceful, and it's like, oh yeah.
No.
It's like, no. It's like, it can feel extremely chaotic at these times as well. So it's really helpful to know that that's normal.
Well. Exactly. I think that's part of the book, is to normalize a lot of these things. It's like, you are not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. This is a natural part of the process. You're meant to be in chaos, you know. Keep the faith, because I know, because I've come out of the other side now, and it's true. It does work. You know, here I am. And also that it's not an end point, you know, so stuff still comes up for me, no question. But now I think for me, it was like the spiritual thing was like, I thought it had to be all just love and light. But now I realize that it's bringing the love and light to all aspects of me. It's like that's the new realization.
Love that. I love that. Yeah. Because when we have this expectation that we're just going to be love and light the whole time, you know,
no pain, just floating,
never get angry, never get sad.
Well, you know, I thought anger isn't spiritual, you know, all of this stuff, and actually anger is part of your life force, part of your power.
Absolutely. There's all these ways that we can make ourselves wrong, and we've learned to make ourselves wrong. And so it is this process of kind of coming back to who we are. And I love how you talk about, you know, like giving and showing love and light to all the different aspects of us. That's so powerful. So powerful.
And I had a realization one day. It was literally like another light bulb. I was like, oh, I am the one I've been waiting for. Yeah. Really, I was like, oh my God. It's like, oh, it's me. You know, I've been thinking it was this one or that one, or someone's going to come and rescue me, or this person's got the insight that I need. And actually the biggest thing I've done is build that core relationship with all of those younger me's. You know, so now if I'm struggling, I turn towards them. You know, I hold them with love. And I say, I'm here for you. You know, all of the things that I wanted to hear when I was growing up, I'm now saying them to myself.
Oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. So Liz, who is your book for? Who do you see it kind of being for? Who's going to benefit most from reading it?
Yeah, thank you. So I think it is, if anyone is been through trauma or abuse, I think it can provide, it won't be the way for everybody, but it's my journey. So, you know, just to say, these are the things that I've done. If any of these can help, you know, please take them and apply them in your own ways. So that's one level. Or anyone really who's struggling, especially if they've had a spiritual awakening and they're in chaos. It's like, and they're thinking, what the hell is going on? Then it's kind of a guide, my guide, to this is what I tried, these are some of the things, I share all the amazing insights and things that I got from other people that have helped me. So it's for those people. And also I'm really starting now to work with women to fulfill their highest potential. So it's really, I'm seeding a community called She Who Shines.
Oh, I love that.
I know. So I'm hoping I will invite you to the community. I'd love you to be a part. But that is for inspirational women who know in their hearts their potential is far greater than their current reality.
Gorgeous.
Because that is what I felt. I just kept feeling so frustrated because I knew my potential, and yet I was, yo-yoing back or spiraling into despair and getting so frustrated. So it's for women so we can hold each other to our highest potential.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So grateful to you, Liz, for the work that you're doing in the world and for sharing your story. I can't wait for your book to be out and released into the world and do its magic. Be out there doing its magic. So powerful. For people who are watching this, Liz, and they want to find out more about you and what you do, what's the best way for them to do that?
So you can go onto my website, which is my name, and it's Lis with an S, Lis, L-I-S, Cashin, so C-A-S-H-I-N, liscashin.com. So if you go on there, you can sign up, get in touch with me that way, or on Facebook, it's my name. I've got an unusual name, so it's quite easy to find me.
Yeah, it is.
I think I'm the only Lis Cashin I've ever found. So if you want to find me, it'll be quite easy. Just Google me. And the She Who Shines community is also being seeded on Facebook. So that will be on there soon.
Perfect. We'll put all the details below this so that people can find you. And is your book available for pre-order yet, or is that just happening?
So I'm going to launch pre-order date next week.
Okay, cool.
So it'd be great if people want to know that, if they want to maybe comment under here, and then I can let everybody know. Perfect. That would be fantastic. Yeah.
Great. We'll watch out for that. Exciting. And I'll be sharing it when it's out.
Oh, thank you, Nick. Thank you so much.
I'm Share a Publisher, so yeah, we're part of the same publishing family, which is fantastic. Yay!
That Guy's House Publishing.
Exactly. Such a great community of authors. So grateful to that Guy's House.
Definitely.
Oh, Liz, like I said, thank you so much for the work you're doing in the world, and thank you for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure to have this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me and for all the amazing work you're doing with all of your unbound women.
Yay! I think our work and our communities are very aligned. So yeah,
definitely.
I'm sure people would have enjoyed this. Thank you, Liz, and we will see you again soon for another episode of Unbound. Bye.